by the way. So you can clearly see that this line coming down here, where the dot is representing, well, the center. So this is definitely going to be a diameter. But more importantly, if this whole thing is a diameter, then this piece is the radius because it's connected to the center. So you have a tangent here and a radius. If you look at rule number 5, the angle between a radius and a tangent is always 90 degrees. Always, always, always. Which would make it really, really easy to find this angle, the green angle. The reason it would be easy is because you see a triangle here now. All the angles in a triangle always add up to 180. So for those who are having problems, at least find the green angle for me. On a side note, Amanda, Roshan, and are correct, right? So, right, so Celine correct so far with the green angle, right? Right, so if you add the 34 and 90 and minus it from 180, we will get 56. Which brings us to this situation now. The X situation, well, we call it vertically opposite angles. Whenever there's an X in maths, right? Whenever there's an X, the opposite angles are always equal. So if here is 32, over here would be 32. If this angle here is 100, the one on the other side would also be what? 100. So the opposite sides of the X are just equal. But also, you realize if you join up all of these 4 angles, you get a perfect circle. A circle is how much degrees? 360 degrees. So using all of that now, if we know here is 56, do you all think you all can find this angle for me? I'm more interested in this dashed angle. If here is 56, we know the other side is also 56. So see if we can reason out the dash angle. And if, well, a lot of people are getting it correct. Zachary, Nival, and Naima, you have it correct so far. And Joshua and Nadia correct. Okay, so we get the colors here. So if here is 56, then over here is also 56. So if you add these two, you can minus it from 360. So 56 plus another 56, when you add these two, you're getting 112. So the remainder now will be shared equally between the remaining two. So when you minus this, you're going to divide the answer by 2 to get this angle here, which is also equal to the one opposite it. So if we do that, 360 minus 112 will give us 248. If we divide that by 2, we are getting 124. So this angle here is 124. Now, if you look carefully, you will see an isosceles triangle because this is a radius and over here is another radius, which means the length of this side and the length of this side are equal, which means this angle and this blue angle are also equal. So couldn't you find one of these angles here? All you have to do is minus this from 180 and divide the answer by 2 because it's getting split equally into 2. Right. So you're going to get 28 here and obviously 28 over here. Now it should be really, really easy. The angle between a radius and a tangent is 90. So this whole angle is supposed to be 90. This piece is 28. So minus it from 90 to get a balance. And that will be the final answer. And a lot of people are sending the answer of 62. Right, make sure you're seeing it on your calculator. Right, so take a half a minute, run through everything in your head, do back the calculation so it sticks. Let's see what the next one holds. All right. So this one here, right? I'm not going to ask you to draw this one. I believe you could get out this one without actually physically drawing it. I think you could just do the calculations in your notebooks. But it's two angles we're trying to find. So let's identify the two angles. The first one is ABC. A to B to C. It's always the middle angle. I would just call it X so we could communicate better. So this one here is angle X. And the other one is BAC. B to A to C. That's this guy here. So I'm going to call this Y. So we can communicate very effectively now. Right, so I'm going to point out the most common mistake, and everybody in yesterday's class made the same mistake. I want everyone, before you start the question, because we're going to run into the same problem, I want everyone to turn back to rule 3. Turn back to rule 3. Right, so in rule 3, right, it's in rule 3 clearly says that if you have a circle, right, and you have a diameter, now remember, a diameter must go through what? The center, okay? The angle standing on the diameter and touching the circumference is always 90 degrees. But it only works if it is actually what? A diameter. Is this line a diameter? For it to be a diameter, the examiner has to say it somewhere, or he has to put a dot and label it something, but at least it must have the dot to indicate that it's going through the center. So in other words, if I have this in the exam, and I never said this was a diameter, and I never even bothered to put a dot, you cannot assume it's a diameter just because it's looking something like a diameter. So it would be wrong to say that this angle is 90 degrees. That would be wrong because it's not a true diameter. So with that in mind now, try to find a different way of finding X. If you look at rule 4, it says something about a cyclic quadrilateral, which is a four-sided shape that fits inside what? A circle, but all the corners must be touching what? The circumference. I know it has a lot of lines in front of you, but if you ignore this middle line, this little troublemaker here, won't we get 1, 2, 3, 4? That seems to be what? A cyclic quadrilateral. So opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral, right? 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 So the opposite angles are supposed to add up to how much? 180 degrees, right? Right, so try that again, right? Kida, we will talk after class, right? Right, so if here is 62, over here has to be how much? 118. Because if you add 62 and 118, you are going to get how much? 180 degrees. Now here, finding Y should be what? Pretty easy. Well, Well, not too easy, not too easy. I won't give it away just yet. So I'll give everyone like a minute again before I give you the value of y answer. Memory a little short today. I'm supposed to remember the answers, but I'm not. So I think the rule you have to use here is rule 7. How much of yours started with that rule? Rule 7. That's the one where you have the road, right? If you have the road and you have a skateboard on the road and a pair of legs standing on the skateboard, you will see that situation here. The tangent is the road. This is a skateboard. And look, the legs are here, starting at B, hitting the circumference and bouncing back to A. The angle between the skateboard and the road is equal to the angles between the legs. So these two angles will always be equal. So if here is 20, then this angle here is also 20. And all the angles in a triangle add up to how much? 180. So I think you just need to add these two and minus it from 180. And I believe you will get 42. Right, so run through that. And then we have one more question, and then we can start functions. All right. So this one, I'm going to have to ask you to draw the diagram at least, right? And it have 3 things they want us to find. This, and this. Now, before, but I learned from yesterday class, how it have 3 things to find, people will find it in any order. Let's keep it in the order given to us. So we want to find B, C, D first, then this, and then this. So we're going to do it one at a time. So do me a favor, just draw the diagram and just let me know when you finish the diagram. You don't even have to attempt it as yet. Just draw the diagram and let me know when you are finished. And we'll do this one together. The first one they want us to find is B, C, D. So let's just concentrate on that one. B, C, D. That's this angle here. I will call this one X. That should be the easiest one to find. So how much is B, C, D? Don't overthink it. This is one of the easier questions. Right. Now, this is the one where you actually have to read the question. They can't, instead of putting a dot for the center, they instead said BD is a diameter. So in a case like that, it isn't necessary for them to put the dot to indicate that that's going through the center. So this is a clear case of rule number 3. So this is a diameter. Any angle standing on the diameter is 90. So he out. He good to go. The next one is PAB. All right, PAB. Let's see what that is. PAB. That's the blue angle there. So everyone concentrate on the blue angle. Put a little blue thing over there, so you know it's the blue angle. Right, a lot of answers are coming up. Roshan, I don't think it's 90. I'm not too sure why you think that angle is 90, but it's the blue one we are concentrating on. No, Naima, correct. Kidal, correct. Right, so I think this rule is rule number 7. If you look at it, this to me looks like rule number 7. This here is the road. You have a skateboard over here, and you have what? A pair of legs standing on that skateboard. Let me draw that by himself so you all can see it a little bit better. you have a road, that's this road here. This is the skateboard on the road. And now you have a pair of legs standing on that skateboard. The angle between the legs and the angle between the road and the skateboard are the same. So if here is 25, which it is, over here is also 25. Everyone good there? Well, provided that you're looking at rule 7 now, you will see that it's actually rule 7, I guess kind of in disguise, because it have other lines there to distract you. The last one now, the angle ABC. ABC. This one was pretty easy, and I think a lot of people were tempted to find this angle first. Right? Which is what happened in yesterday's class. That angle was so easy to find. Everyone just forgot the first 2 questions and just rushed straight to the third one. Right? That Emily correct, Rohan correct, Pooja correct, Darian correct, right? Khadija, right? So in case you didn't realize, if you eliminate this middle line from your line of sight, you will realize this is what? A cyclic quadrilateral. Okay. And the opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral add up to how much? 180, right? And you check it back. So this angle, and it's this one we want to find, must add up to 180. But what is this angle? They didn't come right straight out and tell you the value of this angle, but it's more or less easy to find. You can add the 18 and 25. If you add these 2, you will get this angle. So add the 18 and the 25. 18 plus 25 is 43. So how much again do we need to make 180? 43 plus what will give us 180? Right, Anya, correct now. Right, Christian, correct. 137. All right, and that's all the questions I have prepared for circular. So I think you're going to like this topic. It have a little bit of algebra in it, so I'm hoping you all made some headway into the homework, like you all at least reach video 7, where you can solve for X, because you're going to need that to get out some of the questions today. All right, so let's get started with the easiest questions you can get. So usually when you have an equation, you're going to see letters. The most popular letters in maths, I guess, are X and Y. And also in graphs. When you're drawing graphs, I think everyone has seen this at some point in time. When you have a graph, you have an X-axis and you have what? A Y-axis. But sometimes you go in another textbook, and instead of seeing X and Y, they don't have a Y here. They have FX instead. Let me make it real simple. You can think of it as Y and FX being the same thing. I mean, it has slight differences, but for CXC purposes, let's just assume that Y and FX is the same exact thing. So with that in mind now, let's say I have an equation. Let's say I have the letter Y is equal to 4x minus 5. Let's say I come in the exam and I write that on the question paper itself. And then I give you some instructions, and I'm going to write out the instructions, but let's pretend I'm writing out the instructions. I want you to replace X with 3 and work out the value for Y. So what I want you to do now is replace the letter X with 3, work this out, and tell me what will I get for Y. Real simple instructions, but to write that will be like what, 2 sentences or probably 1 a long sentence. Right. So based on my instructions, this is what I want you to do. I want you to replace x. So you want to throw away x and replace it with what? 3. But anytime in maths you replace something, it's really, really good practice to put brackets in, and then you're minus 5. So 4 by 3 is 12 minus 5, and we're going to get what? 7. Functions is like an abbreviation, an easier way of giving instructions. So instead of me saying, hey, replace x with 3 and then work out the value of y, this is what the examiner could do. Instead of y, he could use a letter. So I'm just going to use fx, and I'm going to put back 4x minus 5. If I want you to replace x with 3, all I have to do is this, f, and put a 3 in brackets. This automatically means that you're going to what? Go to this equation and replace any x with 3 and work it out. That is all function, but a big portion of functions is. So let me put that, you don't have to take down anything there, right? You're going to get enough practice out there. So at the beginning of on top of the exam paper, the examiner might write some functions for you. I color coded to make it look a little bit nicer. It have the yellow one, he's the fx. And then I have the blue one, which is the gx, and the red one, which is hx. In our first question, they want us to find f, and what do we have in the brackets? 3. So all they want us to do here, and look at the direction of this arrow, they want us to take the number 3 and put it into which function? F. Which direction is that arrow going? Forward or backwards? That's going to be real important in function. Is that arrow going forward or backwards? It's backwards. Usually in functions, you just work it out in reverse order, backwards. So all they want us to do is go to the function f. Look at it here. You have the function f. The function f is how much? Fx is 2x minus 3. They want us to replace any x with the number 3. If it have 10 x's, that means I wanted to replace all the x's at the same time with the value of 3. So all we have to do is say 2, throw away this x, put a 3, minus 3. 2 by 3 is 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. So F3 is equal to 3. It's just coincidence we get another 3 here. Whatever is in the brackets and whatever is outside, the final answer don't always be the same. This is just pure coincidence. So before you take down that one, let me work out part B for you so you get an idea. Part B, they want us to work out G minus 2. So what do we have in the brackets? Minus 2. So we are going to visit G. We're going to take minus 2 and put it into G. We work in backwards. This is the function G here. Gx, according to the examiner, is 5x. They want us to replace x with what? Minus 2. So we just say 5, throw away the x and replace the minus 2 in brackets. 5 multiplied by minus 2 is minus 10. As simple as that. There's basically no tricks. Well, the beginning of functions, I don't think it really has any tricks. Take down A and B, and do you all think you all can work out C for me? Find H minus 10. Simple concept. So H minus 10 just means you look inside the brackets and you see H minus 10. So we're going to go to H, and whatever is in the brackets, no matter how crazy it is, we go to that function and replace the x or x's with that. So you have an x here, throw away him, put minus 10. You can put it in brackets, right? And divide it by 2. It's proper to put it in brackets. So H minus 10 is minus 10 divided by 2 is minus 5. That's the final answer. H minus 10 is minus 5. All right, so I have some more questions here. Try all three. The only tricks here already seen, I try to include somewhat fractions, not really a big trick, but still try it. Let me know. You don't have to send your answers for these three. Work out all three and just let me know when you are finished. Afterwards, I'll try to get your answers. Right. So the first one deals with the letter G. So you're going to take minus 20 and put it into G, because that's the letter that you're referring to. So G is up here as usual. So G minus 20. Go on, replace this X here with minus 20. How much people got minus 100 for part D? Super easy. I don't think that was a troublemaker of any sort. All right. So for part E, it's 3/4, because that's what's in the brackets. Even with a fraction, the rule still applies. You're going to put it into F. So let's see. We're going to go to F here. So F 3/4 is equal to 2 open brackets 3/4, because that's this X here. We're going to throw him away, minus 3. So there are two ways you can go about this. You can just type it in straight on your calculator if you want to do the primary school way like this. Right? 2 into 2 is 1, 2 into 4 is 2. So you end up with 3 divided by 2, which is 1.5 minus this guy here, 3. So you get minus 1.5 or minus 3 on 2 or minus 1.5. So any one of those answers are the same exact thing. Too much people are forgetting the minus sign. Remember, it's 1.5 minus a larger number. So the answer is going to end up in the negative region. Right? So if you got this one correct, well done. And I'll just give you a half a minute with the last one here, F, right? Some people might want a chance to try it. I know some people might be more comfortable with changing the minus quarter to minus 0.25. You could do that in the exam, and nobody's going to judge you on it. But I'm just going to use the quarter here. So H minus a quarter. Throw away this X here, which is minus a quarter, and we're dividing it by 2. You're supposed to get minus 1/8, right? Because if you have a quarter and you divide it by 2, if you have quarter of a cake and somebody come and tell you to divide it into 2 pieces, you'll be left with 1/8 of a cake, right? And you gotta check your signs. Here's a negative being divided by a positive. You'll get back a negative, right? Right. So for those who forgot all the negative, just put it in your answer. How much people got all 3 correct, like fully correct with the signs and everything? All right. So let's move on. All right. So let's try some harder questions here. You'll notice that in the brackets, here, you see how in the last questions, let's go back here, just to make the comparison, right? In the last question, if you looked in the brackets, it only had values, numbers, whether it was a fraction, whether it was a negative fraction. The point is, it only had values inside there. So if we compare it to this now, you'll notice in the brackets, it has something slightly more complex. It have a number and a letter, right? But isn't the rules, the rules doesn't change. The point is, if this is what you have in the brackets, this is what you're going to throw into G. So you're going to go to G, and anywhere you see an X, throw him away and replace him with whatever is in the brackets. So let me do the first one for you so you get an idea. So G2x, don't let it scare you in the exam. You're going to go here, have a 5, and throw away this x. Throw him away and replace him with 2x. Now look at it properly. Remember, we threw away this x, and then we replaced him with 2x. So the answer will be 10x. Because the idea is to throw away the x and replace him with whatever is in the brackets. So the answer is 10x, but you can't forget to put back the x. Try the letter I there. So what do we have in the brackets? This crazy looking thing here, x minus 3. But the point is, we're going to put that into f, working backwards. So let me just write back fx, even though I have it up there. Fx is equal to 4 minus x. The deal was to find x minus 3. We would go to this equation, and anywhere we see an x, we would throw him away. So we're just going to throw him away. And we replace him with what? Open brackets, x minus 3. Because remember, I kept saying over and over, when you replace the x, whatever you're replacing it with, even if it's funny looking, you have to replace it in brackets. How much of you all had up to there? Like you remember to put the brackets and you had the actual x minus 3 inside there, right? So take a look at it. Make sure you see what you did wrong, obviously, right? But you can't leave your answer like that. I think we should try our best to simplify it. So we have 4. Yeah, let me from the homework videos. This should be real easy. It means everyone in the pink brackets gets multiplied by the minus sign waiting on the outside. So minus by x is minus x, and a minus by a next minus 3 is positive 3. And notice real people forgot to make this positive, because a minus and a next minus, when you're multiplying it, is positive. So now you can add the 4 and the 3. 4 plus 3 is 7, and then the minus x has no friends there. So this is the final answer. 7 minus x, or if remember, this is really positive 7, right? So if you write it like this, minus x plus the 7, like you put the minus x first and the positive 7 after, and both are correct. But I suspect most people would prefer it like this, right? For those who got it wrong, you saw your mistake. And I seriously believe over here was the mistake, forgetting to change this to a positive. Let me just start you up here with J, right? In the exam, you have to try your best to simplify it as as much as you can, right? So what do we have in the brackets here? 2x minus 3. So we're going to go to this equation here, which is 5 minus 2x, and we have to divide it by 4. But when we are going backwards, because we have this in the brackets as usual, we're going to throw away this x. So let me erase it there. And I'm going to replace it with, in brackets, 2x minus 3. Right, so I'll throw away the x and I'll replace it with whatever's in the brackets. Now, I can't leave that answer like that. I mean, mathematically, it's correct, but it has to be simplified. Everyone in the pink brackets gets multiplied, not by 2. Look at this. This minus sign belongs to the 2. Everyone gets multiplied by minus 2 in those brackets. So we have the 5 here, and now minus 2 multiplied by 2x is minus 4x, and minus 2 by minus 3 is positive 6. We can divide it by the 4. But this gets simplified, right? Because the 5 and the 6 could add up. So we should, for the top at least, we should add that up. 6 plus 5 is 11. You end up with a minus 4x, and the whole thing is divided by 4. I think you should leave it at this point. That this is as simple as it could get. I mean, you could divide everyone on top by 4, but I think that will lead you to get some decimals. So let's just leave it like this, or let me clear some space on this side. Now let's say for those who want an alternative answer, right? If you decide to divide every one on top by 4, now remember it's one big divide sign. So this means everybody on top gets divided at the same point in time by 4. So you end up with 11 divided by 4 with minus 4x divided by 4. 11 divided by 4 will be how much? If we decide to do that. 11, let's see my calculator here. 11 divided by 4 is 2.75, which is 2 1/3. And here the 4 and the 4 will cancel out to leave you with x or 1x. You can put the 1 if you want to, but it's not necessary. Right? But like I said, I would leave it like this. How much of you all got either one of these answers? If you had the fractions 2 3/4 instead, obviously it's correct. All right, so I forgot anything here. Nope, I didn't forget anything there. All right, so this one here is something called composite functions. The main difference between these questions and the other questions is that you have how much letters now? 2. Look at it. The other questions only had 1 letter. This is F and this is what? G. So I'm going to show you how to deal with 2 letters now. Believe it or not, it's not going to be hard. The concept is once you have something in brackets here, you're going to work backwards. So if we work backwards, we are obviously going to bounce up who first? Let's pretend we walk in this way, right? So when you're walking backwards, right? Who do we bounce up first? G. So do not pay attention to the next letter, right? It's 2 letters, right? But if you pay attention to both letters at the same time, you're going to confuse yourself. So you're going to put -2 into G. Now, it makes a big difference. If you put it into F first, you will get the wrong answer because we're working backwards. That's the rule of functions. So let's do that now. Let's put -2 into G. You think you all could do that question for me? Go to G and replace any x you see with -2. Because that's the question part, sorry, that's the part of the question we are focusing on. -2 into G. So it's 5 -2, and we're going to get what? -10. So check this out, right? I'm not too sure why people are putting back the x here. That's completely wrong, right? Because I thought we were throwing away the x, getting completely rid of the x, and putting -2 in its position. So I don't think it should have an x there, right? So for the people who put the x here, you need to remove it. So here's what happens now. When we put -2 into G, the answer we got was -10. That's this answer. So it's like we continue in the journey now. When we put -2 into G, we got -10. Here's what we're going to do now. We're going to continue walking backwards. The -10, which we just got, we're going to put it into F. So it's a continuation, right? Meaning that if you get the first answer wrong, you're going to get what? The second answer wrong. So when we put the -2 into G, that means we're replacing this x with -2. We're going to put that new answer now into F. So what's the new question we're focusing on now? Right now, we are trying to put -10 into F. So F -10, concentrate on that question now. That's the green one. Go over here and replace the x with -10. right? I know some people are asking me to go slower. Guys, this is the slowest I could go. I don't think I can slow down any more than this. The most I could do is do more than one example, right? So I would try my best. Well, I already have it planned out, right? But I don't think I could break it down any simpler right now, right? So just be a little patient and we'll try some more examples and hopefully by then, it will fall into place. F minus 10. We're going to go to here, the green one, which is 4 minus, and we're going to replace the x with what? In brackets, minus 10. And I think we are going to get 14 because our minus and our minuses are positive. So 4 plus the 10 is 14. So let's just go through back there. It's not minus 14, it's positive 14. So it's like this. You put in a minus 2 into G, you will get an answer. Whatever that new answer is, you proceed to put that in the letter that comes after, which happens to be what? F. And only after you finish that last step, the final answer is 14, right? Let's try that with L. Now look at the subtle difference between K and L. You'll notice I just made one small switch. Here's FG, but then I have what? GF. I wanted to prove that if you switch the letters around, you will not get the same answer. The order of the letters in 99% of the cases will give you a different answer. So let's try this one. Some people are saying the answer is 30. Some people are saying the answer is 40. But let's try it step by step. We are going to take minus 2 and put it into which one? Who are we bouncing up first this time? We bouncing up F. In this one, we bounced up G first. So the order does make a difference. So right now, we are focusing on putting minus 2 into F. So this is what we're working out right now. Minus 2 into F. So let me go to F, which is this guy here, which is 4 minus, throw away this X and put what? Minus 2. A minus and a minus what? Is a plus. So again, 4 plus 2, which is 6. So far we have 6. We're halfway through the journey. So when we put minus 2 into F, we get positive 6. This new answer, what do we have to do with that? That new answer, we have to put it into G. So we're taking the 6 and putting it into G. So it's G6. That is what we're focusing on now. One answer feeds the next part of the journey. So if you get the first part of the journey wrong, everything else that follows is also wrong. So G6, you're going to put 6 into G. Look, the G's here. 5, throw away this X and put what? So you're going to get tutor. Right, Sharina, I really don't know what your teacher was doing. This is the correct way to do it as far as I know, right? I don't know why they would put 5 minus 2. I really don't know. Right? But I'm 100% sure what I'm showing you on the board here is correct. So what you're going to do, you're going to put 0 into what first? G. So we find in G0. That is what we are focusing on now. So we're going to go to G. That is this guy. They want what's in the brackets? 0. Replace the X with 0. So it's 5 open bracket 0. And I think this is where the mistake is. Huh? 5 multiplied by 0 is 0. Some people are making, I think I know the mistakes. Some people are saying 5 multiplied by 0 is 1. And some people are saying 5 multiplied by 0 is 5. But anything multiplied by 0 is 0, right? So if you made that mistake, but then you know what to do, right? You need to do back the work. So 5 multiplied by 0 is 0. Anything in the world by 0 is 0. So that's the new answer. When we put 0 into G, we just happen to get back another 0. We're going to take that 0 and put it into H. So that's the part of the question we're concentrating on now. H, 0. You're going to put 0 into H. So go up to H in this corner here, right? We got a different color. This is 5 minus 2. And we have to throw away this x and in brackets put it as 0. And this is where the mistake happened again. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0. Some people are putting 1 and some people are putting 2. So you end up, well, 2 multiplied by 0 is 0. 5 minus 0 is still 5. And we have to divide by good old 4 here. So you can leave your answer as 514 or 1.25 or 1 1/4, however you want to put it. All right. For those who got it wrong, you understand your mistake, right? I'm pretty sure it's the multiplying by 0 part that's throwing off everything, right? Right. If you get 4, I'm not too sure how you get that 4. That's with this. All right. So what we're going to do is take 7 and put it into what? F. So we're going to visit F first. So the first part of the question is just F7. F7, we go into F here. Throw away that X and replace him with what? 7 in brackets. 4 minus 7 is minus 3. Right, you can double check it on the calculator, but I guarantee you 4 minus 7 is minus 3. So that's the first answer. So we have to take that answer now and continue the journey and go to H. But what are we throwing into H? The answer we just got. So we are already trying to find, at the moment, H minus 3. So we're going to go here now. 5 minus 2. And in brackets, throw away that x and replace them with minus 3. And we dividing it by 4. Right? So we just have to simplify this situation now. Remember, there's a secret multiply here. Let's work it out. 5 minus 2 multiplied by minus 3 is positive 6. And then we divide by 4. So all we get is 11 on 4. 5 plus 6, 11. 11 divided by 4. Of course, there's a various amount of ways to write this. Or you could put 2 3/4 or what? 2.75, right? So a lot of people got this one wrong, right? So if you got it wrong, go through back the working. And of course, let me know in the chat if you spotted your mistake, right? If you're very confused about this area here, like how we got the 6, that's a clear indication that you didn't start the homework, all right? Because the multiplication of signs, simplifying signs is really, really key to being a good student in maths, to be an effective student in maths, right? So I'm not putting you down, but if this is the part that's giving you problems, you need to work on that homework, all right? Correct, Christian. All right, so these questions now. Y'all want to take a shot at it? Try O for me. Let me just see what you come up with. Let me change this now, because the first one is a kind of trick. It will be a little too hard, right? So instead of 4, let me just erase this. I'll put something a little more user-friendly here. Let me put, let's make this 5. So the 5 is in the brackets instead. That will be better for our first question. Cool as well. You see, they say 5 squared. So you automatically think that you have to square something, like you have to take the 5 and square it, or you put the 5 into f and whatever you get is squared. So that messes with your mind. F squared, when you square something in maths, 7 squared, as you all know, right? We got a different color. 7 squared is the same thing as 7 multiplied by what? 7, right? And when you square something, you multiply it by itself. So why should it be any different? F squared means F5. That is how you interpret that question. Huh? F squared means F and a next F. So what you're really doing, it's a normal composite function, except you're using the letter more than once. So in other words, you're going to take 5 and put it into what? F. So let's try that. Let's find F5. We're going to go to over here. We have 4 minus, throw away that x and replace it with what? 5. We're going to get what? 4 minus 5 is minus 1. So you see, we ain't doing nothing different. We're still working how? Backwards. So when we put 5 into the first f, we get what? Minus 1. What do we have to do with that new answer? We have to put it back into f. It just so happens f is waiting behind that f, right? So what you're going to do, we're going to try to find f minus 1 now. So we're going to go back to f now. And here's an x. And we have to throw him away and replace him in brackets with minus 1. 2 minus signs touch, so you get a positive. So 4 plus 1 is 5. So the final answer is 5. It's just coincidence that this value and this value is the same. Pure coincidence. Using that same knowledge now, you think you all can do P for me? G squared means G minus 3. Throw minus 3 into G, and whatever you get, throw it back again into G. Right, so I don't know the answers yet, but I'll work it out in a few seconds. So we're going to take minus 3 and throw it into G. So we have G up there. So we're focusing on G minus 3. Right? So we have 5, throw away that x and put minus 3. I think we'll get minus 15. Like a positive by a minus is a minus. We're going to take that new answer now, that Mr. minus 15, and put it back into G. So right now we're focusing on G minus 15. Look at x here. So it's 5 minus 15. I think you'll get minus 75. Yeah, the answer is minus 75. The final answer.